Good evening. It's been revealed that 2 Scots are among the victims of yesterday's plane crash on the Indonesian island of Sumatra. 56-year-old Eugene Clark from Falkirk and 43-year-old Kenneth Wilson from Dunbar were travelling on the Boeing 737 when it's thought it exploded in mid-air, killing 104 people. Paula Smith reports.
Divers are today still sifting through the wreckage of the Silkair Boeing 747, but officials say so far there are no signs that there have been any survivors. 2 of the 104 passengers thought dead are Falkirk man Eugene Clark, who leaves a wife and 2 sons, and 43-year-old Kenneth Wilson from Dunbar, who leaves a wife and 2 daughters. Both men lived and worked in Indonesia. The plane, similar to this one, was en route from Jakarta to Singapore early yesterday morning when air traffic control lost contact. Most of the victims are believed to be inside a huge wreckage underwater, and a strong undercurrent is making the recovery operation difficult. It's thought attempts will be made tomorrow to hoist the plane out of the water.
The last 2 fishermen who perished in the Sapphire tragedy have been laid to rest today. The funerals of Adam Stephen and Robert Stephen have been held in Peterhead. Meanwhile, it's emerged that a problem during the operation to sink the Sapphire to the seabed may mean the boat has to be moved yet again. Becky Hunter reports.
The Sapphire was towed back out to sea last week. However, it's emerged today that there were problems. One of the straps securing the wreckage to the tack lift 7 crane snapped, forcing the release of the wreck some 5 miles short of where it sank 2 months ago. It's thought the boat is lying hundreds of metres away from the Britannia pipeline, which will come on stream soon. The Sapphire may have to be moved if it's found that there is any damage to the pipeline. The bodies of the 4 men were recovered from the Sapphire last week after a public appeal to raise the money to resurface the wreck. The funerals of Bruce Cameron and Victor Podolsny took place yesterday, and the bodies of Robert Stephen and Adam Stephen were laid to rest in Peterhead today.
Police are investigating the suspicious death of a 31-year-old woman in Ayrshire. The woman's body was discovered in a house in Anderston Drive in Saltcoats at around 5 o'clock this morning. A post-mortem has been carried out this afternoon. The result is expected later this evening. Almost 100 underage drinkers have been caught by Strathclyde police following a crackdown as part of the Spotlight initiative. More than 1,500 pubs were visited and 6 were reported for allegedly supplying alcohol to underage people. 3 teenagers in Ayrshire were arrested for allegedly breaking into a house after drinking, and a 15-year-old boy who was under the influence was arrested in connection with a robbery. Well, with just 4 shopping days left now before Christmas, this weekend is set to be one of the busiest for retailers. Today, the streets of Glasgow were busy with shoppers, with a host of stores offering cut-price goods ahead of the traditional January sales. Although there are no figures available yet for December, retailers are reporting slack sales for the month and are hoping this weekend may boost their takings. On to football now, and league leaders Hearts have been toppled after being beaten 5-2 by Rangers at Tynecastle. Meanwhile, Celtic move up to 2nd place in the league after a 5-0 victory over Hibs at Parkhead, with goals from Burley, Weghorst, McNamara and Larson. It was certainly an eventful afternoon of football, with Gordon Durie scoring the first hat-trick in the Premier League away from home this season for Rangers. Here's some of the highlights. And now for a roundup of all the day's scores, starting with the Bells Premier Division. Celtic 5, Hibs 0, Dundee United 2, St Johnstone 1, Hearts 2, Rangers 5, Kilmarnock 1, Aberdeen 0, Motherwell 2, Dunfermline Athletic 0. In Division 1, Falkirk 2, Airdrie 1, Morton 1, Stirling Albion 3, Partick Thistle 3, Ayr United 1, Raith Rovers 3, Hamilton Accies 1, St Mirren 0, Dundee 2. On to Division 2 now, and Brechin City 1, Stenhouse Muir 1, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 2, Forfar Athletic 2, Livingston 0, Clyde 2, Queen of the South 2, East Fife 1, Stranraer 0, Clydebank 1. And finally Division 3, Arbroath 3, Albion Rovers 1. The match between Alloa and Ross County was postponed. Cowdenbeath 0, Berwick Rangers 2, Dumbarton 0, East Stirling 1, and Montrose 1, Queen's Park 3. And that's all we've time for from the newsroom at the moment. Our next bulletin is at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. Do join us for that if you can. In the meantime, from all of us here on the Weekend Team, do enjoy what's left of your evening. Good night.